European carrier satellite Carsat was successfully launched by an American shuttle 12 days ago. Carsat is a free-flying space platform carrying 12 payloads. Every 3 months, most of the payloads will be brought back to Earth and replaced by others. The payloads are supplied by government agencies, commercial enterprises, scientific institutions, or anyone who can afford to pay for the load. One of these payloads is a commercial production unit designed to synthesize a vaccine. That unit was developed by 2 companies, Meissen and EAU, under their project director, Dr. Stanislav Makowski. He has wide experience of space projects in America and has recently returned to Europe. It gives me great pleasure now to introduce Dr. Makowski.
Ladies and gentlemen, like most of you here today, I'm an engineer, not a scientist. But I'm sure we've all been delighted by the discovery of a vaccine which will immunize millions of people against one of the worst diseases which afflicts mankind, schistosomiasis or bilharzia. The discovery of that vaccine was made by the distinguished biochemist, Professor Mary Edwards of New Hampton University, who honors us with her presence here today.
Nice of him to mention you.
The chemical synthesis of the vaccine was planned by Vogel Pharma International.
Nice of him to mention you.
Most of the synthesis has been completed in the VPI workshops here on Earth. It's only the final step, which is now being carried out by our production unit on Carsat. We are able to monitor the performance of the unit day by day, minute by minute. The carrier satellite is in constant communication with the Carsat control room in the European Space Operations Center in Germany. At ESOC, the operations of Carsat and its payloads are monitored by computer. If any system fails to function normally, the computer makes adjustments as necessary. Instead of duplicating all the components, we have a store of spare parts, just like a factory here on Earth. Inside the unit, there is a small 6-axis manipulator which is programmed to replace faulty components, again and again if necessary. The manipulator stands in the middle of the unit so that it has the capability of global access.
Capability of global access?
Components and carrying a load of spares,
What he means is it can reach every part of it.
Pioneering. Now let me explain how our production unit operates. The vaccine known as K40 is a polypeptide, a chain of 40 amino acids. The base product consists of 2 separate chains. Controlled quantities are dissolved in water and pumped into a mixing chamber here, along with an enzyme. The enzyme acts as a catalyst to bond the 2 chains.
Carlo, it's Peter. Listen, Carlo, the vaccine unit has stopped production. Action 1-7, Procedure 8.
From the mixing chamber, the solutions pass to the next step in the production process, the purification of the vaccine by free-flow electrophoresis. That separates the chemicals by means of their different electrical charges. The final product, K40, is collected in a storage tank here. And the other chemicals, including the enzyme, are recycled.
What is it, Peter?
I wish I knew. See if you can make any sense out of this. I can't. At 15:23:57, all systems are functioning normally. 5 seconds later, the main pump drops suddenly to half speed.
35% of maximum instead of 70%.
All the sensors show that the flow rate's of half too, as you'd expect.
There must be some reason.
Sure, but there's nothing here to explain it.
Separation by electrophoresis is normally so slow that the process is not economical on a commercial scale. However, the process can be speeded up more than 400 times in zero gravity. And that ladies and gentlemen, is why K-40 is being produced in space right this minute.
What next?
The computer tries to switch the pump speed back to 70%, but it only increases to 50%.
50. Why 50?
There's nothing to explain that either. Then it gets even worse. The flow rate in the buffer loop drops to 10%. Still no reason. By that time, the computer can't adjust to the systems, so it took action 17 under procedure 8.
Call Hans. See what he can make of it.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mikowski. A most interesting talk.
Thank you.
My name is Minelli, operations engineer ESOC. I'd like to speak to Dr. Mikowski, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't contact Dr. Mikowski just now. He's addressing the conference.
Look, this is very urgent. Please get a message to him right away.
Very well, sir. I'll try.
Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
My name is Jamil Khalid. I am a student from Egypt. In my country, the need for this vaccine is very great. How much of it are you making?
72 kilograms. That's enough to wipe out bilharzia in a population of 30 million people. Don't forget that this mission is also a bold experiment in space production. If it is successful, we foresee a whole range of similar manufacturing processes being carried out in space factories because they can be carried out only in conditions of zero gravity or total vacuum. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just received an urgent message which requires my immediate attention. Please excuse me.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I'll take the next plane, Carlo. I'll be with you this evening. Thanks a lot.
Stan!
Yeah,
What happened?
just got this note from ESOC. I have to get back to Germany.
Action 17, procedure 8.
Well, what does that mean?
There's been a shutdown. The unit's been switched to survival mode. That'll protect the systems and preserve the product, but the situation's critical. It just doesn't add up, Carlo. If something goes wrong, the log should reveal what caused it.
Show Dr. Mikowski the log, Peter.
Main pump speed drops to 35%.
Yes.
Why should it drop to half?
Failure in the motor itself, or the control mechanism, or a blockage somewhere in the system.
Don't you know which?
Not without more information.
There isn't any more.
Exactly.
Maybe the tachometer went haywire and gave a false reading.
The other sensors show that the flow rate of the liquids also dropped by half. They couldn't all go wrong at the same time.
No, I guess not. Pump speed increases to 50%, flow rates increase to 50%, buffer flows drops to 10, and then the shutdown.
We just don't know what started the failure.
Was there a temporary fall-off in the energy supply?
Well, we did check that. Put up the Carsat energy supply from 2348 onwards. You see, there was no variation. All the other services on Carsat continued to function normally. They're still functioning normally.
So are the other payloads?
This log simply doesn't show us them now. So, what's the position now?
Real-time log, Peter.
Production systems have been shut down. Temperature is being maintained to protect your product.
How much have we got?
Nearly 10 kilos so far.
Is that all? Gotta get this back in shape. How about starting up, step by step, till we find out which system failed?
That's very risky, but if you're prepared to give us the permission...
I strongly advise you not to do that. If you go ahead blindly, you might cause worse damage.
The only other way is to examine every identical component on Earth. Check out the manufacture and design of all our systems.
I'm afraid that is the only alternative.
And even if I can pinpoint the failure, I work out a plan to put it right, but I have enough time. Every kilo of vaccine lost is going to cost us a fortune.
There's still 75 days before retrieval. You need only 65 days to complete the production of the vaccine. If you give us 1 day for recommissioning, you still have 9 days in which to make your investigation.
9 days. To summarize the position, we have a shutdown due to failure in some vital system or component. Unfortunately, we can't tell from the log which system is at fault.
Can you explain why the log is deficient?
No, sir, I can't. I thought we had covered every contingency, but it seems I was wrong.
Herr Schroeder, you were responsible for the design and the construction of the unit. Have you any explanation for what has happened?
No, like Dr. Makowski, I was satisfied that we had taken every precaution. I accept my share of the blame.
You're not here to blame anyone, Herr Schroeder. Well, gentlemen, a great deal of money has been invested in this project, and we can't allow it to fail. What's the next step?
We conduct an investigation into components and systems. We have 9 days to look into every possible cause. We can't be sure it was just an engineering system that failed. There could have been a fault in the chemical process, for example.
A fault in our synthesis? That is quite impossible. Every care was taken at every stage.
Of course, Dr. Mann. But we must check everything in order to...
To eliminate every possibility.
Precisely.
Does everyone agree that an investigation is the best course to take? I suggest we take a short break before Dr. Markowski outlines his proposals.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Edwards. I have a meeting with Dr. Stein.
Would you sign the book, please? The meeting is in the conference room on the 4th floor.
I don't like this, Pierre. If Mice and EAU conduct this investigation, they will try to blame us for what went wrong. They are engineers, not chemists.
They said they were willing to take the blame themselves.
No one takes the blame if you can pass it on to someone else.
Professor Edwards, how good of you to come at such short notice.
I'm delighted to see you again, Dr. Stein, but I'm sorry it should be under these circumstances.
Gentlemen, shall we resume our meeting?
Professor Edwards.
Dr. Mann.
Bonjour, Mary.
Pierre.
Mr. Prunier suggested you should be present at the meeting in view of your very intimate knowledge of the product. I believe you are aware of our problem.
Yes, yes, of course. I'd be willing to do anything that I can to help.
Just come up here. That'll be fine. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. I think most of you have met Professor Edwards. It has been agreed, Professor Edwards, that an investigation will be made into every system in the production unit. We want to discover the most likely cause of the failure and to apply whatever remedies are possible within the time at our disposal. We have only 9 days, it seems. You'll be conducting the investigation yourself, Dr. Markowski.
That's right, with Herr Schroeder.
Dr. Stein, if I might make a suggestion.
Mr. Prunier?
Since Dr. Markowski has pointed out that the chemical process in the production unit is just as important as the engineering systems, I suggest we call upon Professor Edwards to assist in conducting the investigation. She said she is willing to help.
That seems a very reasonable suggestion. Would you agree to that, Professor Edwards? We will be most grateful.
Yes, yes, of course.
I take it there are no objections. Good. That's agreed then.